Hi there. Good evening. Erev Tov. For those of you whom I've not met, I think there are a few, I am Gordon Gladstone. I'm the Executive Director of Kol Shofar, lo these many months. It gives me great pleasure to introduce both Esme and Esther, who are the Diane, Cohen, Zack Volunteer Award winners for 2025. And apparently you'll get your standing ovation now and later. Okay, on the basis of that, maybe I shouldn't read this because it's going to be all downhill from here. All right, I shall sally forth. So I'll start with Esme only because that's the sheet that's on top of my little stack here. You guys can stay seated. What is it draws people to Esme? And I should note that these remarks were prepared by Joan Levinson, who could not be here because she has a professional event of her own this evening. Typically the prior awardee, in this case Neil Kugelmas, who also couldn't be with us this evening and sends his regrets, you're stuck with me. So sorry. Let's not overextend that. What is it that draws people to Esme? My guess is that first it's the twinkle in her eye and her British accent. And then the completely honest, borderline irreverent one-liner that you weren't expecting. And you know intuitively that this woman you want to talk to more. And it is because she has a lifelong curiosity about what motivates and interests people. A fascinating and comfortable conversation ensues. So, what brought Esme to Kol Shofar and to leading conversations in Aging with Esther for 7 years? Raised in England, Esme and her husband Roy moved to Marin from Israel in 1987. As a newly married couple, they had made Aliyah in 1971 for Roy's first job at a medical school at Hadassah Ein Kerem. Esme soon started editing botany and zoology journals at the Weizmann Science Press of Israel, which is in Rehovot, by the way, as she mastered living in a new culture with her new husband. Soon, 2 sons were born. This seems biblical. Several years later, during a 2-year stint in Philadelphia, a 3rd son was born. Once back in Jerusalem, the boys enrolled in the new Masorti school, which is the conservative movement in Israel, where Esme got involved in Jewish communal life and volunteering. After 16 years in Israel, the family moved to Marin in 1987 when Roy accepted a position at UCSF. In Marin, Esme followed her lifelong interest in psychology and earned a master's in psychology at Dominican University. As a licensed therapist, Esme began working for Marin County's Family Services Agency and also began seeing private patients ranging from young children to seniors. In preparation for moving to their family to Marin, Roy and Esme were put in touch with a Kol Shofar member and real estate broker, Susan Kolb. Susan with us this evening? Oh. Not only did Susan find them the perfect home, but she also introduced them to the perfect synagogue. Which they quickly joined to help provide the Jewish context that their sons had simply, by living in Israel, experienced. Soon, Esme was on the Kol Shofar board, her first tour of board duty, and ran the gift shop with Jane Farkas. The ongoing conversations in aging that Esme and Esther have led since 2019 grew from, as the rabbi earlier alluded, conversations at the Marin Organizing Committee meetings and rabbi leaders' interest in reaching out to the shul's older members. Esme has long been interested in starting a group to provide especially for just this age group, and she and Esther connected and decided that with their interest and expertise, they would give it a try, and so began conversations in aging. To say that this group is important to the participants is an understatement. Some groups continue to meet on their own after the end of the 8-week program. Other people participate in the group several times because they find it so valuable. What we are celebrating here tonight are 2 exceptional Kol Shofar women who saw various needs in our community and decided to address those needs and a role model for us all. I'm going to ask you to hold your applause. I'm going to talk about Esther, and then you can all stand up again. Like many people you meet and find interesting and charming, once you get to know them better, you realize what drew them to you in the first place was only the tip of the iceberg. And that is certainly the case with Esther, who we're honoring this evening, along with Esme. Esther has been an active member in our community since the early 2000s, when she and her beloved husband, Walter, moved to Mill Valley from Cincinnati to be near one of her two daughters. On the suggestion of Eileen Serlin, of blessed memory, Esther and Walt came to Kol Shofar and again found the perfect synagogue. I've lost my place. And quickly found a place in the community. Esther, who grew up in an Orthodox home in a rather rough part of the Bronx, with parents from the Ukraine and Poland, liked the middle ground of conservative Judaism they found at Kol Shofar. Professionally, Esther is a social worker who early in her career was drawn to the newly emerging field of group psychotherapy. Esther and Walt, a psychiatrist, met at a group psychotherapy conference. They were both deeply involved in and leaders within the American Group Psychotherapy Association and the International Association for Group Psychotherapy and Group Processes. Breath. Esther took on big and small jobs within the organizations because, as she says, that's just what you did. Something needed to be done, and you did it. So she organized the IAGP's 1,800-person International Congress in Rome. It just needed to be done, and she did it. Once settled at Kol Shofar, Esther became the kind of congregant that all shuls value. She found ways to support the community and use her experience to make Kol Shofar a meaningful place for people. With Esme, Esther has led conversations in aging for 7 years, fostering honest conversations about aging. They are completing their 17th conversation this month. After October 7th, Esther volunteered to facilitate a process group, Support in Wartime, to discuss and process Israel, anti-Semitism, ethnic studies, and other issues. This group continues to meet to this day, having become so important to its participants. Oh, and she has also facilitated a group for Ukrainian therapists for the last 3 years. What's next for Esther, you may ask? Well, she'll become a bat mitzvah later this year, urged on by Sandy Statler, Esther, and 5 other Kol Shofar Niks, Nikim, Nikot, all women, Nikiot, are studying for this simcha. When something needs done, you just do it. We are so lucky that years ago, Esther and Walt decided not to relocate to New York, Florida, or Chicago, where the synagogues are not perfect, but rather settle in Marin, and we are still reaping the rewards of that decision. Okay, now. And Esme and Esther, if you wander over here, I'll hand you a lovely plaque. Yeah, so please. Okay. All right.
It has to be read. When Gordon contacted Esme and me that we were being awarded the Diane, Cohen, Zack Volunteer Award, oh, because I'm short, right? When Gordon contacted Esme and me that we were being awarded the Diane, Cohen, Zack Volunteer Award for our facilitating the conversations in aging groups for folks 70 and over, we were surprised, honored, and also quite humbled to be so recognized by our Kol Shofar community. In our world, Esme's and mine, participating and giving back what we were so fortunate to have had personally and professionally is what one does as a member of a community and a family. We are both so touched that we were able to make a difference for congregants whose lives are in transition and changing as they age, begin to lose dear ones and feel more vulnerable. In a supportive and non-judgmental space, they are able to share and process their personal angst, fears, and joys and not feel alone or abandoned psychologically. The result has been intimate and continued connections that they have made with each other and have continued even after the 8 sessions are over. And the same experience of community, mutual support, and intimate connection has been true for Esme and I.
We were completely bowled over, Esther and I, when we were told that we were being honored with the Diane Zack Volunteer Award, and thought, no, it can't be. You've made a mistake, Gordon. And then, really? Have we? And then it was, wow, what a very nice feeling that is, and thank you. We wanted to say, really, thank you. It's truly such a very great honor. I just wanted to give you a few more details about the group. As Gordon said, we started it in 2019, and since then, as he said, that we've done the 17 groups, and over 100 people, over 100 congregants have participated, with 30% of them participating in more than one group, often several groups. We typically meet in person here at Kol Shafar, and of particular value were the Zoom meetings held through the difficult COVID years, when so many of us really needed community and connection with others. We're so fortunate to get to be this old, and the journey can be tough, especially towards the end, and we feel blessed and privileged to have been able to accompany some of our congregants along the path, which of course is our path, Esther's and mine too. This award means so much to us on so many levels, and really, thank you very, very much.